Hello, everyone. I'm Z. Welcome back to Unlocking Greatness podcast with Zenja Glass. I want to talk about God can do more with less. There's a story in the Bible. It's in the book of Judges, chapter 6 and 7, that I want to encourage you all with. And this podcast today is meant for those people who feel that they've come against some opposition in their lives. Maybe you're feeling that you are the least in your family. Maybe you're feeling that you don't have either the support or the finances or whatever it is that you need in order to accomplish some goals or some big dreams or maybe something that God has put in your heart. This story is for you. Gideon was an amazing man. The Israelites had been taken over by the Midianites. And this is in Judges, I think, chapter 6. And they were very, very discouraged, treated very harshly. You can read the story yourself to get all into it, because I just want to get to the premise of it. But there was an angel that came to Gideon and said to him that I'm going to deliver you out of their hands. I'm going to free the Israelites from the Midianites. And Gideon basically said to the angel, look, my family is the least of the clans, and I am the least in my family. He said, how is it that I'm going to be able to do this? And that's somewhere around Judges chapter 6. You can look in verse 12 or so for that one. But the interesting thing about that, and I want to back up just a little bit because I'm going a little too fast. One of the things that Gideon said to the angel of the Lord is, so many bad things have been happening. If the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? So you can look in Judges, I think chapter 6 around verse 13. I read the NIV version, but I also read King James, read whichever version you want. And the reason that Gideon said that is because they had been held captive and all of their livestock was taken away. Anytime they grew any crop, the Midianites would come and take it away. So I always like to relate the Bible sort of to my personal life as well as to my businesses that I run. And sometimes when I feel like, oh my goodness, there's so many things that's happening, sometimes you can be tempted to feel like, well, if God is with me, then why is all this happening? If he's with me, then why is my child going through this? If he's with me and he really wants me to grow this dream or start this business or do whatever, then why did he not give me the money to do it? Why did he allow me to just lose my job? Why is it that every time I turn around, something's going wrong? If God is truly with me. And that's what Gideon was saying to him. He was saying, well, if the Lord is with, he's telling us to the angel, well, if the Lord is with us, then why is all this happening? And it's so amazing. I don't want to get into all the juice of the story. I would love for you to read it so that you can see how the angel responded, how the Lord responded to him. But here's the premise of what I want to focus on. One, Gideon doubted that the Lord was with him, and he got corrected on that. Two, Gideon was too focused on what he had. And let me give a backdrop on this. Gideon had about 32,000 soldiers, which sounds like a lot, but that was nothing in comparison to what they were going up against. And in fact, you can read, I think it's in Judges chapter 7, around verse 12 or so, correct me if I'm wrong, but there were so many Midianites and so many livestock, they said it was just too many to even count. So just imagine, I don't know, going up against, I don't know, I'm just throwing a number out there, 1 million people. I don't know, for those biblical scholars watching this, the exact number of the Midianites, but it was way, 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 way more than the 32,000 that Gideon had. So imagine the angel of the Lord coming to him and saying, you mighty warrior, you are going to go in and you are going to be the one to lead them out of this and to win this war. Now, first of all, let me stop right there. The angel of the Lord called Gideon a mighty warrior. That encourages me more than you know, because at that time, he certainly was not a mighty warrior. In fact, he was afraid. That lets me know that God doesn't see us as we are, and I pray that that encourages somebody that's listening to this. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be down. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to feel like giving up. It's okay to feel like everything I've tried, it's not successful, won't achieve it, can't do it, don't have the money to do it, don't have the support, you just don't understand, blah, 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 blah. It's okay to feel that. But I want to encourage you to realize that God sees you as a mighty warrior, just as he did with Gideon. When he called them that, it just blew his mind that this angel would call him a mighty warrior. So that's one thing that I want to talk about, is that he was called a mighty warrior. He had a very small army, only about 32,000 men. Now, here's the good thing, and you gotta I'm hoping that you guys please read the story. Comment. In fact, if I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube, because this is a video podcast, by the way, so it's available on any platform where you can listen to a podcast. But we also are video recording this for a reason. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go to my YouTube page, Unlocking Greatness with Zenja Glass, and subscribe, because you can get more of this video and the whole full gamut of it. But anyway, so Gideon only had about 32,000 soldiers. And check this out. This is what's really good. And I want you guys to get this point. If you don't listen to anything else, give me one more minute of your time. The Lord said to him, to the soldiers, all those who are afraid to go into war, turn around and go back. And about 22,000 soldiers, hear me on that, 22,000 soldiers turned around and took their butts home. So guess how many Gideon is left with now? 10,000. Think about that for a moment. He had 32,000, which was already a small number. Then the Lord basically said, hey, Gideon, anyone that's afraid, tell them to go home. 22,000 turned around and said, see ya. So have you ever been in a situation where you feel like, man, the little that I did have, now that's been taken away and I've got even less? Like, how am I supposed to do this? God, what are you doing? What in the world are you doing? So there's about 10,000 soldiers left. So check this out. God still wasn't done. So some kind of way, and again, I really want you to read the Bible, read that story. God takes them down to the water. And he tells Gideon, I want everyone, I guess, to go and drink some water at the lake or what have you. And everyone went to the lake and got some water. And only about 300 men out of the 10,000, so follow me, only about 300, I didn't say 1,000, 300 men lapped the water up a certain kind of way, I guess, with their hands to their mouth or something. And you want to know what God said to Gideon? Okay, you see these 10,000 men? You notice that the 300 of them, the way that they got the water and put it up to their mouths, those are the only 300 I want you to work with. Send everybody else home. That just, I could stop this podcast right now. That alone blows my mind. I shared this story with my staff one time a while ago, and my staff was like, Z, you just have no idea what that did for me. And it was a moment when we were really low on staff, and we had, as you guys know, I also own a staffing agency. I've been helping people find jobs for almost 30 years, so that's one of my companies I run. But we were just really, really low on staff and a lot of orders and just so much on our plate. And when I shared that with my team, they were like, Z, you don't know what that did for us. So Gideon now only has 300 men out of that little 10,000 that was left. Think about that for a moment. Son all the rest back. So God says to him, or I think it was the angel of the Lord that said to him, when Gideon was trying to figure out, well, what's going on? Why are we doing this? He says, I think it's in Judges chapter 12. I got to grab my glasses and read this real quick. I have my Bible with me right now, you guys. So it's Judges chapter I'm in 6, so bear with me a second because this is just too good to miss, and I want to get it right. He says in Judges chapter 7, at one point he tells them, you still have too many men. That's when he took them down to the water to drink. Then he tells them, he says in chapter 7 in verse 2, he says, in order that Israel may not boast against me, that her own strength has saved her. And that's when he went on to say, announce to the people, anyone who trembles with fear may turn back. So that's when he took the army down. I'm treading backwards a little bit. That's when he took that army down from 32,000 down to, and 22,000 men left. So think about that for a second. He says, I don't want you to think you got to where I'm about to take you in your own strength. I mean, I literally right now could end the podcast. He said, I'm taking you from 32,000. I'm going to let 22,000 people turn away. Then I'm going to turn around and take that 10,000 you have left down to 300. And I'm still going to let you win this war. And I'm doing this so you don't think in your own strength you got there. That touches my heart. It touches my heart more than I can say. Because I'm sure many of you, like myself, have found yourself in situations where you're like, God, I don't know how I can make it. I don't know how I can do this. I remember years ago when I started another one of my, well, at that time, a new division. And I just remember all the things that I was going through. And I remember thinking, God, I don't even have the finances to do this, to get this off the ground. I mean, it was just a horrible time that I was going through. And I remember God just telling me, you go in the strength that I give you. I need you to go in my strength so that when you get to where I'm taking you, you can't dare boast about doing it yourself. This is why I love the story of Gideon. This is why my staff, I believe, really, 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 in fact, not only do they love the story, but they're the reason I'm doing the story today, because my sales director is funny. He came to me and said, Z, I know you're doing another podcast. I really would love for you to talk about the story of Gideon that you shared with us a while back when we were going through a hard time. He said that really transformed all of us. And I just want to encourage you. I don't want to talk too long. And again, I'm not a preacher. I'm not a minister. I'm just a woman that loves God. I'm tremendously, I appreciate the Bible more than I can say. And I always try to use the Bible for my daily life, you know, in the way that I run my companies, the way that I treat people, the way that I think through problems and things I go through in life. So here's what I want to get at. Gideon felt that he was the least in his family. He felt that his clan was the weakest. They had been suffering for a long time. They were afraid, thinking maybe God is not even with us anymore. An angel comes, calls him a mighty warrior, takes his army down to only 300 people. You guys, for the sake of time, can go ahead and listen, read the rest of the passage to see the amazing strategy that God did. You just would not believe. And I'm not going to tell you on purpose because I'm trying to force you to dig into your word. But the amazing strategy that God did that allowed Gideon to win that war against all those people with only 300 men. Only God could have thought of something like that in terms of what Gideon ended up doing. That was in chapter 7 to win that war. So they did win it, by the way, with only 300 people. And what's so amazing about that is God just encourages me that, Z, I always got you. I don't want to get you to a point where you think your own strength got you to where you're at. And I thought about that for a second. I thought, why would God, like, what is it with God? Like, why does he like creating or allowing these situations to happen that sometimes put us between a rock and a hard place? And I thought about that before I did this podcast. I actually, spent some time sitting and praying before I started recording. And I thought about it and I thought, wow, if God did not move the way that he moves in my life and puts me in situations where only he was able to get me out of, where only he was able to do the impossible, then when I get to where I'm going, when I get to when I get to that place in life where, God has, let's just say, blessed me to win the battle, if I think I got there in my own strength, because I had enough warriors, I had enough soldiers, I had enough money, I had enough whatever, then what am I going to do when more opposition comes against me? What am I going to do when life gets tougher? What am I going to do when it's time to go to that next level and I feel I don't have enough? There would be no training in me. There would be nothing in me that would be able to go to the next level if I think I got to do it in my own strength. Because as you guys know, we get tired. Am I right? So I really think it's a boot camp. It's like a training. I really sincerely do. I think that this story, and I pray that this encourages you, and I'm about to wrap this up, but I pray that when you look at this story, that you see that no matter where you are at in life, no matter what your situation is, no matter how little you think you have, let God blow on it. Let him give you your strategy. Spend time with him so that he can tell you who you really are. A lion, a mighty warrior. If you guys didn't listen to the podcast I did previously, I think it's called You Are a Lion. I strongly, strongly suggest you go to either my website or the YouTube page. Again, it's Unlocking Greatness with Zenja Glass. And look up that podcast I did on You Are a Lion. But sometimes you have to be reminded of who you are. And that's what he did with Gideon. When Gideon had nothing, he reminded him, you are a warrior. And then God turned around and lowered that army down to 300 people and made them win the war. God could have easily done it with the 32,000. Think about that. Why didn't he do it? Why didn't he do it with the 32,000? Because there would have been a chance for pride to rear its ugly head and say, look what I did. Look what I accomplished. Look what I was able to do. And as we all know, God is against a prideful spirit. So I pray that you are encouraged by this. If you have less, if you feel you're the weakest, if you feel you can't do it, if you feel you don't have the support, the money, the this, so many things in life, it just keeps happening. Read this story. Dive into the book of Judges. That's in the Old Testament, by the way, chapter 6 and 7, and look at what God did with Gideon. And if he did it for Gideon, I believe he can do it for you. I love you all. I sincerely pray that you're encouraged. Please do not forget to go to my YouTube page and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button. But anyway, I love you all. Again, thank you for listening to Unlocking Greatness Podcast with Zenja Glass. Be blessed. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone. This is Z again. Do not forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification button. Bye-bye.